Hi, this is Sally's Book Talk. Listen to great books every day, bringing you the best global reads. Today we're exploring the book, The Invention of Nature. The Chinese edition of this 400,000-word book chronicles the life of Alexander von Humboldt, the great naturalist and father of modern geography, who discovered the principle of interconnectedness, offering timeless insights. Hearing about Humboldt might not immediately spark your interest, but you'll definitely recognize someone with mixed feelings toward him: Napoleon Bonaparte, the renowned French military leader. Napoleon actively promoted science during his reign, appointing many scientists to ministerial positions. In 1798, during his Egyptian campaign, Napoleon brought nearly 200 scientists to document findings, later compiling a 23-volume masterpiece. Napoleon took great pride in this description de l'Objet, believing it would immortalize his legacy. But before its official release, Humboldt unexpectedly stole the spotlight. The young dark horse had just returned from South America, publishing his own 30-volume work. Voyage to the equinoctial regions of the new continent provided invaluable scientific data, causing a sensation across Europe, achieved without military protection or imperial funding. Humboldt's solo achievements overshadowed Napoleon's entire scientific corps, greatly irritating the emperor. During their first meeting, Napoleon even openly mocked Humboldt. Despite his sour grapes, Napoleon secretly studied Humboldt's works. Legend says Napoleon carried Humboldt's travelogues even during the Waterloo campaign's eve. This story alone speaks volumes about Humboldt's credibility. But compared to his lifetime achievements, this was just the beginning. During the 18th–19th centuries, Humboldt significantly advanced multiple scientific disciplines. He was hailed as the Shakespeare of science and the greatest post-deluge figure. Yet Alexander von Humboldt, once immensely celebrated, has now faded from public memory. With deep reverence for Humboldt, renowned German science writer Andrea Wolff authored The Invention of Nature. This book aims to bring this great scientist back into public consciousness. After its international debut, it won multiple awards, including the Economist's 2015 Book of the Year and the Royal Society's Science Book Prize 2016, etching Humboldt's vision into readers' minds. Now that we've covered the book's background, let's explore three key aspects of Humboldt's achievements through the book's framework. First, what scientific concepts did Humboldt propose? Second, who was influenced by Humboldt's ideas? Third, how did Humboldt spread his concepts? Understanding these three aspects will help you appreciate Humboldt's rightful place in science's pantheon. You might even transform your understanding of nature and knowledge, applying Humboldt's thinking to daily life. Let's examine Humboldt's first achievement: proposing nature as an organic whole. Alexander von Humboldt was born in 1769 in Prussia, modern Germany. The von in his name indicates his noble lineage through the Humboldt family. Humboldt developed deep fascination with nature from childhood. At 20, he wrote his first scientific paper, expressing interconnectedness in nature. This concept seems obvious today, like the mantis stalks the cicada, unaware of the oriole behind, or how overfarming leads to desertification. Common knowledge now, but no organism survives in isolation. They coexist and compete within nature's complex web. This was revolutionary thinking in Humboldt's era. Most contemporaries viewed nature as humanity's subordinate. Western anthropocentrism, stretched from Aristotle's nature exists for humans, to Linnaeus's belief that all things exist for human benefit. Humboldt's contemporaries believed nature was mostly wilderness, only becoming beautiful through human cultivation and forestry. A typical example: an American statesman published an article in 1770 celebrating massive forest clearance. He believed this would significantly improve local climate conditions. French naturalist Buffon described primal forests as terrifying places full of decay, parasites, and toxic insects in his works. These prominent figures' views profoundly shaped public perception of nature. But was nature truly insignificant and disposable as claimed? Young Humboldt, who often escaped classrooms to collect specimens, suspected deeper complexities. After graduation, he conducted botanical and geological research during official trips across southern Germany. Following his parents' deaths, Humboldt resigned his lucrative civil service position, using his inheritance to embark on a South American expedition. Accompanied by French botanist Aimé Bonpland, he ventured into uncharted territories. Their exploration covered the Orinoco River basin, Andes Mountains, and Mexican Plateau. From plains to peaks, rainforests to deserts, their footprints marked South America's diverse landscapes. They navigated 2,000 kilometers along the Orinoco, surviving shipwrecks and jaguar encounters during 70-day jungle expeditions. Simultaneously, they discovered Earth's most fascinating ecosystems. Humboldt witnessed life's interconnectedness: capybaras escaping crocodiles only to meet jaguars, twisted kuji trees sheltering soil, and insects from harsh winds. He wrote to his brother, "From anacondas swallowing horses to hummingbirds hovering at flowers, all testify to nature's power and tenderness." Humboldt realized nature wasn't humanity's subordinate, but a breathtaking world of wonders. All fates are interconnected with humanity, being just one link in the chain. In 1800, Humboldt first warned scientists about human-induced climate change. Deforestation around Venezuela's Lake Valencia caused soil erosion. Unregulated pearl harvesting devastated oyster populations. Mexican plateau irrigation systems caused land degradation. Through ecological observation, Humboldt revealed forests' crucial roles in water conservation and climate regulation. He warned in papers, "Humanity's reckless climate interference will bring unforeseeable consequences for future generations." Today, facing climate crises, we witness Humboldt's prophecies becoming reality. In his era, such warnings were revolutionary wake-up calls. Friedrich Engels noted that pre-18th century conservative natural views dominated science until Humboldt's geography breakthroughs. George Marsh, father of modern environmentalism, called Humboldt nature's greatest priest for understanding ecological connections. 5 years after Humboldt's death, Marsh published Man and Nature, reviving his conservation philosophy. This advocacy led to forest protection laws in America and Europe, sparking 20th century environmental movements. Today, harmonious coexistence with nature is undisputed common sense. That concludes our first key aspect: To summarize, 18th century views saw nature as humanity's domain for exploitation, driven by curiosity. Humboldt's South American expeditions birthed the concept of nature as interconnected organic whole. This revolutionary view evolved into modern environmentalism through later advocates. Now, let's discuss Humboldt's second achievement, his Partheidea vision influencing key contemporaries. Kant once said human knowledge forms a systematic structure where individual facts should be understood within larger frameworks. Humboldt transcended his era in this regard, impacting exceptional figures across disciplines. First, let's examine his influence on biologist Charles Darwin. Despite 18th century misunderstandings of nature, scholars weren't completely ignorant of its complexity. Maritime advancements enabled many explorers and scholars to reach distant continents. The year Humboldt was born. Captain Cook first landed on Australia's east coast. Even earlier in 17th century, naturalist Maria Marion conducted South American research at 52 with her daughter, yet Humboldt discovered nature's web. Like predecessors, Humboldt carried instruments to measure mountains and collect specimens. But unlike others, he sought holistic understanding beyond single disciplines. Humboldt integrated all natural phenomena into cohesive ecological understanding. His botanical work, Essay on Plant Geography, revealed ecological patterns. Journeying from plains to mountains, mirrors traveling from equator to poles. Vegetation distribution connects to latitude and elevation, not isolated occurrences. He identified global factors affecting atmosphere, hydrosphere, and lithosphere. Holistic perspective and establishing connections defined Humboldt's thinking. This approach naturally led him to discover nature's interconnectedness. Young Darwin read these works, igniting his passion for exploration. When Darwin boarded HMS Beagle in 1831, Humboldt's travelogues remained by his bedside. The well-worn book contained thousands of Darwin's annotations. From Humboldt's descriptions, Darwin recognized species competition driving evolution, later formulating his grounding on the origin of species. This holistic approach helped Humboldt integrate multiple disciplines, establishing modern physical geography and pioneering visualization methods. While 18th century meteorology used numerical tables, Humboldt invented isothermal line charts, curved lines on maps, visually simplified complex climate data. He employed 50 cartographers to transform South American data into textbook-ready vegetation maps and topographic profiles, pioneers of data visualization. Humboldt believed understanding nature required both instruments and artistic perception. Rational analysis combined with artistic beauty, appreciation brings us closer to cosmic truth. His scientific writings possessed literary vitality, vividly depicting nature. This style profoundly influenced Thoreau's Walden, an American classic dominating 2 years of nature observation. Cold scientific labeling became literary artists' nightmare during this era. Thoreau's imagination once stalled when, seeing crimson clouds, he first thought, steam-absorbing light. If science, 震撼人心, must literature be obsolete? Or can we develop new thinking beyond scientific precision? From Humboldt's works. Thoreau realized science and poetry aren't opposing forces. He wove vivid imagination into daily observations, ultimately creating the globally acclaimed Walden. Beyond scientific and artistic perspectives, Humboldt, as Prussian official, balanced ecological issues with imperial politics. In colonial Cuba, he found cash crops, like sugarcane, replacing native vegetation. This caused famine risks and soil depletion, making economic development unsustainable. Humboldt attributed this to European powers not treating colonial subjects as citizens. He became convinced colonialism and slavery violated human dignity. Using his influence, Humboldt pushed Prussian laws, granting freedom to arriving colonial slaves. This awareness created an intriguing chain reaction. When Humboldt lectured about South America in Europe, young Simon Bolivar learned of his homeland's beauty and suffering. This inspired Bolivar to launch anti-colonial independence movements. Notably, these independence movements pioneered environmental protection laws. These examples show Humboldt as an intellectual with integrated thinking and broad concerns. This stemmed from his unique knowledge structure and sui-fonction. Humboldt's finardizadal thinking, encompassing arts, politics, and sciences, unlike modern specialization, enabled broader impacts across fields. That concludes our second key point. While many scientists explored overseas, Humboldt uniquely observed nature holistically and established indistinguishable connections. Thus, Humboldt first uncovered nature's web. His holistic thinking transcended scientific boundaries, influencing Darwin, Thoreau, Bolivar, and others across fields. This approach reminds us not to lose sight of the whole while focusing on details. Now to Humboldt's third achievement, science communication, which author Wolff particularly praises. He had many successful attempts in this regard. When imagining scientists, you might picture Sheldon from The Big Bang Theory, high IQ but socially awkward. We often assume great researchers must be isolated lab workers. But Humboldt socialized widely, dissecting specimens with Goethe and advising Thomas Jefferson on U.S.-Mexico border policies. Humboldt's social skills were unparalleled in scientific circles. In 1828, he organized Berlin's first major scientific conference with hundreds of European scholars. Attendees included chemistry pioneer J.N.S. Berzelius and mathematician Carl Friedrich Gauss. Previous conferences featured tedious paper readings. Humboldt believed this format hindered genuine connection. He insisted interdia dialogue and knowledge sharing revealed scientific truths. He organized discussion groups and even concert outings. These activities included forming academic brotherhoods to deepen collaboration. Gauss later praised the conference as pure oxygen for academia. Beyond academia, Humboldt prioritized public science education. As mining inspector, he found workers' scientific ignorance increased risks. He created vocational manuals and established Germany's first mining school. After triumphantly returning from South America as Europe's renowned scientist, Humboldt prioritized both academic papers and science communication. Born in late Enlightenment era, Humboldt received Enlightenment education, emphasizing reason and progress. Contemporary thinkers strongly believed in scientific power. They embraced scientific knowledge to enhance rationality and debate effectiveness. Humboldt believed public science literacy would generate tremendous social progress. During his first Berlin year, he delivered weekly public lectures on cutting-edge science. Free admission caused massive crowds. Police controlled traffic with horses during events. Audiences ranged from royalty to servants, including women excluded from universities. Fanny Mendelssohn, composer's sister, recalled terrifying crowds but worthwhile experiences. Humboldt advocated establishing chemistry, mathematics departments, and polytechnic universities. This vision materialized through brother Wilhelm von Humboldt's efforts. As Prussian education minister, Wilhelm founded Humboldt University, where Alexander became professor. Their collaboration made the university attract elite and cultivate top talents. Notable figures included philosophers, Fichte, Hegel, physicists, Einstein, Planck, Marx, Engels, and statesmen, Bismarck, Zhou Enlai. Alexander von Humboldt passed away in 1859. The Humboldt Foundation, 1860, honors his legacy by supporting international academic exchange and research. To date, Humboldt Foundation scholars have produced over 50 Nobel laureates, becoming scientific legends. Humboldt's science communication methods, improved academic exchanges, co-founded Berlin University, promoted research through foundations. Reasons for Humboldt's obscurity include Germany's wartime image and his spiriticity, approach conflicting with modern specialization. Author Wolff emphasizes rediscovering. Humboldt promotes interdisciplinary understanding and free knowledge, exchange for better coexistence with nature, society. This concludes our exploration. Humboldt established modern environmentalism and academic exchange through revealing natural connections and interdisciplinary impacts.